I can't remember if you said this to me in the last podcast or if I heard it somewhere else, but um, this guy who writes this book about um, all of these weird, cool farmers that he knew in the South, and the book is popular, sells a bunch, whatever, and then 20 years later, he goes back and he has a chat with a bunch of those farmers that he had interviewed for the book, and their eccentricities are all gone, and they began to get beaten out of them is the wrong word, but um, they
Siphoned
began to
off.
they began to get siphoned off when radios became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
It's
we are. It's back. I guess it's back to that original idea of you are the five people you spend the most time with, and if that's a bunch of podcasters and we all listen to the same people, then we're all going to kind of turn into the same person, and that's boring.
yeah. Which is why at this point, like, if you are the same people that the five people that you spend the most amount of time with, then I guess that I am my wife, my 3 children, and you.
You're doomed then.
At some
I've
point,
ruined
it
you
won't be
forever.
5 people because I hope to have more than 4 children. So
Yep, then I'll be out. So until then, you're stuck with me.
yeah, they say 5 people, I think, as a rule, but it is a man is defined more by the company he keeps, and that's effectively what that means. And this sort of has to do with people's like harmless quirks, eccentricities are going away, accents are disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this country, everyone kind of sounds the same. Because everybody listens to the same American media, watches the same American movies. So everybody is starting to sound the same because we've been basically inundated with the accents of whoever is on TV or whoever's in the movies or whoever's in the news media for so long that it affects our own accents, and to the point where there will only ever be one accent, and that's not a good thing. At least in the United States, there will only ever be one American accent. Now, there is a American accent that the most of the rest of the world understands as an American accent,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more the subtle differences between them.
And those should be there,
When I really get going, I sound like a hick
as you
because
should.
because my dad has that accent, and because my grandfather, his father, had that accent even thicker. And you can even probably just see this looking back in the generations of your own family. Your dad's accent is more pronounced than yours, and his father's accent was way more pronounced than that.
I don't
And a
remember
lot of that
enough,
has to do
but
with us, like, we're all just starting to sound the same.
once again, it's boring. There's lots of other arguments against
boring.
it, but like the boring one should be enough of a reason for you to take pause.
Yeah. To the point where people are identifying more with like their generational slang than with their local colloquialisms.
Exactly. Like I've said before, who cares about their neighbors? Nobody.
Yeah.
Who cares about their local town? Almost nobody.
I am sad for the younger generation just following me because all of their slang is internet words, which is kind of how it has been since like the language of the youth has been a thing,
Mm-hmm.
which again that's only about as old as the existence of the teenager as a concept. So within less than a century. But like the language of the youth has always been just the language of entertainment. The language of the youth in the 50s was just how the rock stars all spoke, or just how the language of the youth in the 80s and 90s was how the cool kids on television spoke, and even before that. So our accents are disappearing, our colloquialisms are disappearing, local identity is just disappearing.
Yep.
As a whole, and even to the point that national identity is just disappearing. People are putting their hobbies or the things that they're interested in in front of their national identity and their ethnic and blood identity. And I would say before their identity of their beliefs, but most of them don't even have beliefs. So you don't even have beliefs. You despise your own blood. And you don't care at all about your nation. You wrap up all of your identity in whatever hobby or interest it is that you can, via the internet, share with people from all around the world, and you all just speak into an echo chamber and talk about exactly the same things. And the opposite is one of my desires for this podcast, where we can kind of just talk about anything, coming at it from our particular perspective, and just sit and have conversations about things.
As we should.
Which people don't do anymore. To the point that now having conversations is novel, and people, for entertainment, will put on a podcast that is nothing more than people having conversations, because people haven't been taught how to. Nobody knows how to actually experience things. You would rather have somebody else experience it and then see him experience it.